Hello students, welcome to the third part of the biological classification. In our last two classes, we have read about the first two kingdoms. They were the kingdom Monera and the kingdom Protista. Today we will learn about our third kingdom, that is kingdom Fungi. You have already read about kingdom Fungi in your school days. You know, kingdom Fungi is a very broad kingdom, is a very vast kingdom. It has very unique feature. It shows a broad varieties of morphology. It has a very vast uses. It is also a disease causing kingdom. Also it can be used to produce antibiotics. It can also be act as a parasite. It can also be a decomposer. It can be multicellular. It can be unicellular. It can be present on soil, can be present on air, it can be present as parasites on plants and animals. We can use fungi, some yeast, for making bread, beer. Even you can notice some white color dots on the leaves of some vegetables. That is very disease causing and very pathogenic. They are parasitic. So it's a very broad range of fungi. Today we are going to read about this fungi. In this chapter we will read what are the characteristics, what are the features, what are the divisions that fungi is classified into, and the basic and common examples. See the background. It looks so colorful, so enticing. So it's going to be super fun reading about kingdom fungi. Now let's get into the world of kingdom fungi. First, we will see the characteristics. So, the members of kingdom fungi are having certain characteristics. They are, first one is cell type, whether they are prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Remember, all the members of fungi are eukaryotic. That means they possess a true nucleus. That a nucleus bounded by a perfect nuclear membrane. That is eukaryotic. Our first kingdom, kingdom Monera, that was the only prokaryotic kingdom. Rest are all eukaryotic members. Next, cell wall. In the cell wall of fungi, a component is present called as chitin. Students, it's very important to remember this name because this name will be asked in your exams, in your medical entrances. So, which is the component present in the cell wall of fungi? That is chitin. There is no cellulose. Cellulose is present in plant cell wall, but in fungal cell wall, chitin is present. Then nuclear membrane, obviously it is present because they are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means true nucleus is present. Next, body organization, multicellular or loose tissue. See, they perform their all body works not in a single cell. They are usually multicellular. They are all multicellular, but except one that we will read later. So they are multicellular, and you know when a number of cells bunch together, mix together to perform a particular work, it is called as tissue. So multicellular and loose tissue. So up to tissue level only their body organization is up to. Then mode of nutrition, they are all heterotrophic. That means they cannot produce their own food. They depend on others. How they depend? Saprophytic way or in parasitic way. Saprophytic means they depend on dead and decaying organisms. That means they are not harmful. Those are saprophytic. And those are parasitic. They are harmful because they are causing disease to that animal or to that plant. So these are the basic 5 characteristics of fungi. Now let us move to some bodily characters. What about the structure of the body? First one is filamentous. Filamentous is thread-like, elongated body. They are having elongated body just like the diagram in the your right corner. See, when I am teaching this slide, this picture, you just go through the diagram properly. Then you will get to understand this. This is filamentous, means filament or thread-like body. Next, body consists of long, slender, thread-like structure called hypha. So this is called hypha. This filamentous structure is called hypha. The network of hypha is called mycelium, and this complete the total collection of hypha makes a structure called as mycelium. So from now onwards, you have to remember the fungal body as mycelium. You have to underline this. So the network of hypha is called mycelium. What is hypha? Each unit of a mycelium is a hypha. That slender-like structure you see, the labeling is there, hypha, it is written hypha. So a lot of hypha, a number of hypha mixed together to form a mycelium, and this mycelium is the fungal body. Next, multinucleated mycelium is called soinocytic mycelium. It is very important. Listen, we know that each cell is having one nucleus usually, but when there are more than one nucleus inside a cell, that condition is called as soinocytic. So in this mycelium, we read that fungi are multicellular. So this mycelium must be having more than one cell. So each cell must be possessing more than one nucleus. That is why this is soinocytic mycelium. Soinocytic means multinucleated condition. That means this cell is having more than one nucleus. Understood? Now see, I encircled in red colors one septate hyphae, one aseptate hyphae. Septate means segmented, but segmented in septum. So this hyphae, just mark this hyphae, they have some small segments segmented into septa. So the mycelium, those are segmented, they are called septate hyphae, and next below that written aseptate hyphae, that means they are not segmented. That means their body is not segmented or not separated into the various septa. So the mycelium, those are segmented, are called septate, and those are not segmented as called as aseptate. Always remember this mycelium is soinocytic. Remember this word, this is a new term. Soinocytic means when a cell is having more than one nucleus, it can be possible. Now we'll see the knowledge cloud. What is that? First one is yeast, that is Saccharomyces. Yeast, we can call it as baker yeast, brewer yeast. Why baker yeast? Because it helps in bread production. Why brewer yeast? Because it helps in beer production. So it is a unicellular fungi. Unicellular means usually we learnt about the fungi are multicellular, but one unicellular fungi is that is yeast. Next, they prefer to grow in warm and humid place, so we keep our food in refrigerator. See, easily fungi can grow in warm and humid place. See, if you keep our sweating clothes inside our cupboard, after 2 days we can feel that there will be small fungal particles. Why? Because they were warm, they were humid. But when we prepare food, we shouldn't keep long in warm or humid place, because there will be possibility of growing of your fungi. That is why we keep our food in refrigerator, so that we can avoid the growth of fungus. So these are the basic body characteristics of fungi. Next we'll read about symbiotic relationship of fungi. What is symbiotic relationship? Symbiotic means one helpful relationship. In a relationship of two organisms where both organisms are benefited. That means if there is a symbiotic relationship between organism A and organism B, A is helping B in some way and B is also helping A in some other way. So when there is a relationship, symbiotic relationship, that means both organisms are benefited. And fungi is very good at something, that's why in that relationship it also has one symbiotic relationship. Let's see. First one is symbiotic association of fungi and algae is called lichen. When fungi and algae, you heard about algae, when fungi and algae stay together, the structure is called as lichen. So lichen is the symbiotic relationship between fungi and algae. That means fungi is helping algae in some way and algae is helping fungi in some way. What is that? Fungi provides carbon dioxide and habitat to the algae. Means fungi provides carbon dioxide to algae and it can also allow the algae to stay upon it. That is how fungi is helping algae, and algae is helping fungi by providing oxygen and food. Fungi provides carbon dioxide and habitat, algae provides oxygen and food to the fungi. So that is the symbiotic relationship. In this way both are benefited. Next relationship is with the plant. Fungi when stays with symbiotic relationship with plant, it is called as mycorrhiza. All these are questions in entrance questions. So what is mycorrhiza? When a fungi is staying as a symbiotic relationship with a plant, it is called mycorrhiza, where the plant provides the food or photosynthetic product to the fungi, and fungi absorb water and mineral from the soil and provide it to the plant. So in that way they are helping each other. What? The plant is providing the photosynthetic product to the fungi, and fungi can absorb water and nutrient and provide it to the plant. See, we read about their fungi heterotropy. They cannot produce their own food. That is why plant is helping them to get food. Because plant can photosynthesize. It can photosynthesize and food its own food, and some extra food it will give it to the fungi. And fungi, in return of that, absorbs water, extra minerals, and provide it to the plant root. In the diagram you can easily see this. So these are two basic symbiotic relationships with fungi. What are they? One is with algae, that is lichen. One with the plant, that is mycorrhiza. All about all these lichen and mycorrhiza we'll read elaborately in your higher classes. Then now we'll switch to our next picture. Now comes reproduction. See, this is very complicated. In fungi, the reproduction is very complicated, and it is the, I think, the very important part to remember when you are reading about fungi. See, all we know that reproduction has two types, that is asexual and sexual. Asexual means there should not be fusion of gametes, and sexual there should be the fusion of gametes. But here one extra thing is that is vegetative means. Vegetative means something is growing from the body of the fungi. That means when body will give rise to a new fungi, that is the vegetative means. The vegetative means is divided into three types. First one is fragmentation. That means when a fungi is divided into multiple fragments, each fragment will grow into a new fungi. So interesting. It's like a magic. What is that? If we cut the fungi into fragments, each fragment can grow into a new fungi. Next, fission. Fission means two fungal bodies. We know fungal body is called as mycelium. Mycelium are made up of hypha that we read. So two hypha will come close to each other and they will become a new fungi. They will become a new mycelium. That is very interesting. Next, budding. A bird-like structure will grow from the mycelium, and they will grow. When they get mature, they will separate it from the mycelium and will grow into an individual fungi. So these are the three basic vegetative means of reproduction in fungi. One is fragmentation, second one is fission, third one is budding. Then we'll come to asexual reproduction, where spores, various spores, small minute particles, they will grow into a new organism, and the spores are conidia, sporangiospore and zoospore. These three types of asexual spores are there. They will grow into a new fungi. First two spores are non-motile. They cannot move from one place to other. But the last one, that is zoospore, that is a motile spore. Students, just remember, this is a very important question. Which asexual spore of fungi is motile? That is zoospore. So there are three spores we read about here. But there are so many spores, but here we are reading about three spores, that are conidia, that is non-motile, sporangiospore, that is also non-motile, and zoospore, that is motile. Next, sexual reproduction means mixing of two gametes. Fusion of two gametes means two spores or two gametes, you can say. What are the spores? Oospores, ascospores and basidiospores. So all these three types of spores, they are sexual reproduction modes or sexual reproduction means. So from here, from this picture, we have read about the reproduction of fungi, which are of three types, that is vegetative means, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction. In both asexual and sexual reproduction, there will be production of spores, but vegetative means provides our information from where the body, the fungal body will grow or will produce or will divide into a new fungal mycelium or new fungal body. Now we'll see the knowledge cloud. It is saying that various spores are produced in a structure called fruiting body. Obviously, because all the body parts cannot produce spores now. So the mycelium is having a definite structure, that can only produce the spore, and their structure is called as fruiting body. That means in a fungal mycelium or fungal body, the fruiting body, a part of organ, that organ only can produce spores, whether they are asexual, whether they are sexual. So this is the basic idea about reproduction. Now we'll read about the sexual cycle. Students, I think you all know about haploid and diploid. If you don't know, then let me tell you. Haploid and diploid means we know that we are like human beings are diploid because we have 2n number of chromosomes. We have 46 chromosomes. We can write it as 23 pairs. So each pair, if you take each pair as n, that we can say that we have 2n is 2 into 10, 23 pair. So we always keep it as a even number, that is 2n. 2n means that is diploid condition. If we half it, that is become n or haploid. Okay. So 2n means diploid or full chromosome number, and n means haploid or half of the chromosome number. So haplontic means n, but diplontic means 2n. Our body, we are all having 2n number of chromosome, but fungi are active when it is having n number of chromosome. That you just remember this thing, and now we'll see what is happening. See, the sexual cycle of fungi consists of 3 steps. 3 steps are plasmogamy, karyogamy, zygotic meiosis. See, plasmogamy means 2 hyphae, that we can say 2 gametes, they will come to each other, they will come close and mix together. See, each hyphae is having cells having nucleus. This nucleus will fuse together. First, what will happen? In plasmogamy, the cell will come close to each other, the hyphae will come close to each other. First, there will be mixing of the protoplasm or cytoplasm. First, the cytoplasm will mix. Number 2 is karyogamy. After the cytoplasm is mixed up, the nucleus will fuse together. So first the cytoplasm will mix, then after that the nucleus will mix. So karyogamy refers to the fusion of nucleus. Remember, karyo means nucleus, gamy means fusion. So karyogamy means fusion of nucleus. Nuclei is the plural of nucleus. So first what happened? First the cytoplasm is mixed up, then the nucleus are mixed up. Then after that, so see, this nucleus was having n number of chromosome, that nucleus was having n number of chromosome. So total when the nucleus mix, we have 2n number of chromosome, but we know that fungus body is n. They are not like us, we are having 2n, they are not having n. That is why we have to reduce it. That means we should go for meiosis, meiotic division. That is a kind of cell division that we will read later. Just remember that is zygotic meiosis, so that we can halve the number of the chromosome. So first what happened? First 2 gametes or 2 hypha will come closer. Their cytoplasm will mix, that is called as plasmogamy. Then their nucleus will mix, that is called as karyogamy. So when the nucleus mix, after that again the division occurs. Again the cycle continues. The division is called as zygotic meiosis. See in the picture you can see step number 1, dikaryotic hyphae or mycelium, n plus n, 2n plus n mix up to become 2n. See step number 2, that 2n again undergoes meiosis. Meiosis is the cell division and become n, and each n will develop into spore, and each spore will germinate into a new mycelium. So mycelium is having n. When they become 2n, again they will separate, again they become n. So n, 2n, n, 2n, like that the cycle will go. But you have to only remember that the sexual cycle is having only 3 steps. First one is plasmogamy, fusion of the cytoplasm or protoplasm. Then karyogamy, fusion of nuclei of the gametes. Then after that, to reduce the number of chromosome to half, we are undergone zygotic meiosis. Meiosis means the cell division, that is the half cell division that makes the number of chromosome half. So these are the steps of sexual cycle. Now we'll do the classification of fungi. Like we will divide the fungi into different groups, because fungi are so vast, it's so elaborate, we cannot keep all the members into a group. So we chose a basic basis on what we are dividing the total fungi kingdom into 4 classes. So what are the basis? First one is morphology of the mycelium, how the fungal body looks like. how the fungal body looks. Morphology means the external feature, the look of the mycelium, how the fungal mycelium is arranged. That is the first basis. Second basis is mode of spore formation and fruiting bodies. See, we have read about so many spores. So according to the spores present on fungi, we are dividing or classifying the fungi into 4 classes. What are the classes? Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, Deuteromycetes. Remember, where mycetes word is there, you just blindly say that it is a fungus. Yeah. So what are the 4 classes? P, A, B, D. P, Phycomycetes, A for Ascomycetes, B for Basidiomycetes, D for Deuteromycetes. So these are the 4 classes, and what are the bases of the division? One is morphology of the mycelium. Their mycelium are different. They look different from each other. And the mode of formation of spores. How the spores are produced, which spores are produced. According to that, we can read about another different division. Now you all know what we are going to read, that are individual classes. Now we'll go one by one. First one is Phycomycetes. Now let's see what are the habitat. Aquatic, they can live in water. Decaying wood in moist place. Swampy areas, it can live. That wood means that tree, destroyed tree, decomposed tree parts in swampy areas. And obligate parasite on plant. See, obligate, this new term, what does that mean? Obligate means strict. They are strict parasites on plant. They are so bad. Obligate means strictly they will stay on plant as parasite. They don't have a free living form. If you separate it from the plant, that will they will die. They cannot survive. They will always be present as parasite on the plant. Obligate means strictly they are parasite. They don't have a living independent form. They will always be present as a parasite on plant. Next, mycelium means how the body is made up of. It is aseptate, means there is no segmentation, and zoonocytic. Zoonocytic means multinucleated condition. Next, asexual reproduction by zoospore and aplanospores. There are 2 asexual reproduction spore. They are zoospore, one is motile, and aplanospore, that one is non-motile. Next, the sexual reproduction occurs by fusion of 2 gametes, that we know. But this sexual reproduction is again divided into 2 types. One is isogamous. Iso means same. Gamous means gamete. When the 2 gametes look similar, they are morphologically similar, it is called as isogamous. And as anisogamous or oogamous means when the 2 gametes and they are going to be fused are dissimilar. They don't look alike. They are not similar to each other morphologically. They are called as anisogamous. So sexual reproduction occurs in 2 ways. One is isogamous, where 2 similar gametes are fused, and one is anisogamous or oogamous, where 2 dissimilar gametes are fused. The common examples of Phycomycetes are mucor, rhizopus, that is bread mold. If you keep bread for 4 days, you can see that green color fungus, that is rhizopus. Albugo, that is parasitic fungi in mustard. You can see in the diagram on the fungi, on the mustard leaf, that white color rusty appearance, that is albugo. So these are the members of Phycomycetes. Now we'll go to the knowledge club. What it says? One says obligate parasite, another says facultative parasite. What is obligate parasite? That we have already discussed. These are the strict parasite. They are strictly parasite and they don't have a free living form. If you separate it from the plant, they cannot survive. And one is facultative parasite, means they can be parasite, but if you separate, they can also live. They have a free form. They can live separately, they can live independently, but if you are keeping them on a plant, they will become parasite. So facultative parasite means they are occasionally they are free living and most of the time they are parasitic. But obligate parasite, they don't have a free living form, they are always parasite. So this is the characteristics of Phycomycetes group. Next, number 2 group is Ascomycetes. It is commonly called as sac fungi. So the members of Ascomycetes we can call sac fungi. The body is multicellular, that is penicillium. Antibiotics we know, we take injection penicillium. So this penicillium, the antibiotic is extracted from this penicillium. They are multicellular and rarely unicellular. One unicellular we have read that already. Yeast is the unicellular fungi. So yeast comes under this Ascomycetes group. Next is nutrition type. They are saprophytic, or they can be decomposer, or they can be parasitic or One new term, coprophilous, that means they can grow on cow dung. Cow dung, or you can see the dry cow dung, that white color or green color patches, they are the fungi. These fungi, those grow on cow dung or dung of animal, they are called as coprophilous. Next, mycelium, the body is branched and septate. And asexual spores are conidia produced on conidiospores. So these conidia, they are asexual spore. They are produced in the fruiting body that we have discussed. That fruiting body is called as conidiospores. Then sexual spores are ascospores. See, I have told you the basis of the classification. One was the morphology, another one was the spores, type of spores. So this is ascospores. From that ascospore name, the name of the group is Ascomycetes. So common examples are Aspergillus, Claviceps and Neurospora. Now we'll see with the knowledge cloud. Neurospora is used in biochemical and genetic work. If you research in future, then you will take Neurospora as your model, because Neurospora is very easy to grow and it has a very short lifespan. We can grow Neurospora easily in the artificial condition also. So this is the diagram of Neurospora. Neurospora is in biochemical and genetic work. In laboratory it is widely used. Then morels and buffels are edible. We can eat morels and buffels. They are very tasty. These are the diagrams there. Morels and buffels are the Ascomycetes group members that we can eat. These are edible. So these are the basic characteristics of Ascomycetes. Now we'll move towards our next group, that is the Basidiomycetes. So what the mushroom we eat are coming under Basidiomycetes. It is otherwise called as bracket fungi or puff ball. See, they look like a puff, look like a bracket, and that is why Basidiomycetes members are called as bracket fungi and puff ball. Whatever mushroom we are eating, the edible, the non-edible, the poisonous mushroom, all come under this Basidiomycetes. They can grow in soil, on log, on tree stump, or on parasite like rust and smut. Rust and smut parasite, you can see that in leaves of potato, in leaves of some vegetables. You can see that white color dust or black color dust like particles. They are the fungi. They are the rust or smut. So these dusted particles or dusted fungi are called as rust. They are parasite. They can cause disease to the plant. They will get all the nutrition from the plant leaf and they will let the plant die. Next, mycelium is branched and septate. Then asexual spore not found. See, chalo, something's going good. There is no asexual spore. We don't need to remember any asexual spore of Basidiomycetes. That is, spore is not present. Asexual spore, the vegetative mode is fragmentation. If you cut the fungi or cut the Basidiomycetes members into pieces, each piece will grow into a new body, a new fungal body, a new fungal mycelium. Then sexual spores are Basidiospore. That is where the name of the group is Basidiomycetes. Then examples are agaricus, that is mushroom, the name of the mushroom. So scientific name of mushroom is agaricus. Then ustilago, that is smut, that is discouraging. The Puccinia rust fungi, that black color rust like appearance that a leaf are having, that is called as Puccinia. Next we'll go to the knowledge cloud. Basidiospores are produced in a structure called basidiocarp. Just like conidia are produced in conidiospores, that in that manner basidiospores are produced in structure called as basidiocarp. So basidiocarp is a fruiting body for Basidiomycetes. So these are the basic characteristics. Just remember that all the mushroom we are eating, that is coming under Basidiomycetes. You must be having doubt that why the mycelium is branched and septate. The mushroom doesn't look like branched or septate. You can see the ventral side of mushroom. So these are the like branch structure. If you cut the mushroom to pieces, you can see minute branch, a section of the mushroom. So these are the branched and septate parts of the mushroom. Finally, we have come to our last class, that is Deuteromycetes. They are called imperfect fungi. Why? Because they don't have any sexual reproduction. So if question will come, why Deuteromycetes are called imperfect fungi? Because they do not perform any sexual reproduction. Their mycelium are septate and branched. Their asexual spore is conical. Just like one other member. I hope you just remember that name and just recall it. Then nutrition mode is saprophytic, parasitic or decomposer. The example is Alternaria, Coletotrichum and Trichoderma. The knowledge cloud says Deuteromycetes members help in mineral cycling. Mineral cycling means when a plant is getting a mineral from the soil, it will shed the leaves and the leaves become decomposed by this Deuteromycetes group, and again the nutrient will mix with the soil. From their soil again it will be taken by the roots of the plant. So that in that way the Deuteromycetes helps in mineral cycling. So these are the 4 groups of fungi: Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, Deuteromycetes. Now we just have one part left for the biological classification, and the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, that we'll read about in separate chapter. But some members are still there. Those are so weird. Those are so outstanding. They are not classified into the any main group of 5 kingdom classification. That we'll read in our next session. Who are that weird members that are not present in any of the 5 kingdom classification? So the next session, that will be our last part of the biological classification. All the plant and animal kingdom, that we'll read in separate chapter. So as of now, tomorrow we'll get the that assignment. I hope you all will do the assignment. We'll send it over mail. I think most of the students are not doing the assignment properly, regularly. So you have to do this, because don't take this casually, because now we are going through a very difficult condition. I don't think you can resume your studies before 2 months or something. So take your studies seriously, whatever it is. It may be physics, chemistry, maths, whatever it is, take your studies seriously. Now we'll end up with our daily quote, that is, reading is dreaming with open eyes. So just when you are reading something, just make a picture in your mind. So we can easily see this. If you are reading about reproduction in fungi, see how two hypha will come, how they mix together, how again they will form from N to 2N, from 2N to N. If you picturize this thing, it will be very easy, it will be very interesting to learn. So always when we are reading, it should be like a dream. Just like we are dreaming with open eyes, just think that reading is like that. Just take the reading very casually, very lightly, and in a very interesting or funny way.